Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin today with the very latest on the war in Ukraine. 2 weeks into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there is still no end in sight. The humanitarian crisis continues to grow, and U.S. officials believe Vladimir Putin will only increase his attacks. More than 2 million people have fled Ukraine since Russia's invasion last month, according to the UN. UNICEF says half of all refugees are children. Multiple ceasefires have fallen apart, leaving thousands trapped in besieged cities. CIA leaders say the war will only get uglier as Putin presses on. President Biden, as we've reported, announced a U.S. ban on Russian oil imports in order to ramp up pressure on Russia. The president said he will try to soften the impact here in the U.S. Lawmakers are considering a pause on the 18-cent federal gas tax. We'll keep you posted if that happens. And as the Russian aggression continues, people across the world have protested, donated, and showed their support for Ukraine in many ways. Many people in our nation's capital continue to show support for Ukraine. Take a look outside of the Ukrainian embassy. You can see flowers and signs have accumulated in a show of support for the Ukrainian people. People passing by told our USVI News Washington correspondent that they hope this conflict will end and are encouraged by this overwhelming amount of flowers, signs, and messages of peace.
I have prayers for their president. I have prayers for President Putin as well.
What are your prayers for Putin? Are you
for him to for peace, for him to understand the love of Christ, for him to realize what he's doing basically to these people.
Tens of thousands of women in Ukraine spent International Women's Day Tuesday as refugees. And as our USVI News' Haley Potter reports, they're finding some strength from each other.
These Ukrainian women are facing a tiring and tearful journey out of their war-torn country.
It's very hard because I'm alone here and I have no support here.
But on this International Women's Day, volunteers are making sure that refugees are feeling the love. This woman says the 8th of March is a beautiful day. We're so thankful Poland welcomed us into their country. Katrina Pavlovna escaped the invasion with her 9-year-old son. She says Ukrainian women are the strongest in spirit. Everything will be fine.
We lost our life.
But Anastasia Kazenkina is struggling to find hope.
It's very stressful now. That's all that I can say.
Many Ukrainian mothers are furious that Russian President Vladimir Putin has torn their families apart. Victoria Maslovska is just trying to stay strong for her 10-year-old daughter who wants to go back home.
They're my toys, they're my friends, and I don't know where my friends now.
These women are finding much of their strength from each other.
It's time to empower each other to do our best.
On a day meant to celebrate all that women have achieved.
That's absolutely heartbreaking for those women. And of course, here in the Virgin Islands, there was a celebration of women here in St. Thomas, and we're going to have that full report coming up Thursday here on USVI News, so look for that. So the Virgin Islands Office of Highway Safety trained several people to help ensure children in the territory are safe. The organization's Occupant Protection Program provided certification training to 33 child passenger safety, or CPS, technicians. The technicians now hold a 2-year nationally recognized certificate and will be able to provide expert car seat fitting advice and installation assistance to drivers with children throughout the territory. Technicians hail from the Virgin Islands Police Department, the VI Fire Service, VI Department of Human Services, the 1F Louis Hospital and Medical Center, as well as the Schneider Regional Medical Center and the St. Thomas East End Medical Center. The Office of Highway Safety says child passengers in the territory are often observed riding unrestrained or improperly restrained, which of course increases crash-related risks for injury or death. So these new CPS technicians are all about saving lives on area roadways. Positive cases of COVID-19 remain steady throughout the territory. According to the latest numbers from the VI Department of Health, there are 43 active cases territory-wide, with 26 on St. Croix, 15 on St. Thomas, and 2 active cases right now on St. John. And as more mask mandates continue to be loosened or lifted, we're learning COVID-19 is likely here to stay. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says the virus could join the flu and other respiratory illnesses that often spread during the cold winter months. COVID cases have decreased more than 54% over the past 2 weeks, and COVID-related deaths are also significantly decreasing. Despite those promising numbers, though, CDC officials believe the virus will continue to circulate around the world for years to come. Experts say it is unclear whether people will need additional COVID booster shots over the next year. Following a COVID-19 infection, some patients experience hair loss. A dermatologist explains it's not unusual, and fortunately, it's not permanent. And as Linda Baccaro explains, that's not the only impact this virus has had on hair and skin.
The stress of fighting a third round of COVID took a toll on Ashley Soto's hair.
I was just getting clumps of hair coming up my scalp.
What was your reaction when you saw it?
I was stressed out. I'm a female. Losing hair, it's a big thing.
Dermatologist Alexis Young with Meridian Health System says she's seen a jump in cases of hair loss. She says it's brought on by stress to the body and can develop about 50 to 60 days after a COVID infection.
About 90% of the hair is supposed to be in the growth phase and 10% in the shedding phase. And in this situation, more hairs enter that shedding phase.
And Dr. Young is seeing other COVID-related cases in her Paramus office.
Flaring of acne, rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis, which is like dry, flaky skin.
That's what this patient is complaining about.
Now I'm just very mindful to make sure my hands are fully dry and just use the hand cream as well to keep your hands as hydrated as we can.
The good news is that most of the problems seem to be temporary. Dr. Young says it can take 18 months, though, for hair to fully grow back.
It does not scar the hair follicle, so there's full capacity to regrow hair.
It's going to grow back. I'm not going bald because of it, so it is great.
A look at your local forecast is straight ahead here on USVI News. Plus, seeing the world in full color is something many of us take for granted. And thanks to his friends, just that is now happening for the first time for one teenager. We're going to bring you his touching story when USVI News comes right back. Now we want to bring you an inspiring story out of the state of Nebraska. A teenager seeing in full color for the first time in his life. It's something most of us take for granted, but for a young man who spent his life mostly unable to see color, it was an ability he badly wanted, but didn't have. So that is until his friends stepped in to get him a special pair of glasses. Nicole Griffith reports.
I've heard of bricks being red. I didn't know how true that was.
Through Zane Stubendek's eyes, he sees a lot of grays.
I know that it's green, but I see gray right here.
That was until a few weeks ago. For his 19th birthday, 7 of his friends pitched in $250 total to get him a pair of Enchroma glasses that help colorblind people see color. They even captured the moment when his world was brightened.
Do they work over there?
Dude,
bro, he's shaking. He's shaking so bad.
Yeah, I put them on and got emotional, and I was just nervous that they wouldn't work at first, but I put on the glasses and immediately saw a red car, and that was my first time seeing red.
I've told him for a long time I just never knew when it was going to happen. So now that I was finally doing it for him, I was very excited. So then I got happy, and then he started crying. And then I had to hold my tears back.
Zane's friends have been by his side since high school, helping him pick out clothes and making sure he's matching along the way. They're the type of friends who are literally brightening his life.
The only reason that I was able to experience that is because of them. So I couldn't be any more grateful to have those type of people around me.
Wow, what a great group of friends. Wonderful story there. Still ahead here on